bakit mas maganda na, or bakit essential for me my local court, no? If you look at paragraph 12, before you look at it, can anyone in the room here tell me, I know the former president was accused of extrajudicial killing, of crimes against humanity. Pag sinabi yung torture, pwede kasing bago mo patayin, di ba? Pwedeng emotional torture, pwede mong gulpihin torture. So, included na yan. But does anyone here, can anyone tell me here that during his 6 years and before that, he was accused of ordering or himself raping people? Diba? I do remember malaking issue about his statements about a missionary who was raped, and inexplain niya yon na frustrated, galit siya. But is anyone here accusing the former president of raping or ordering the rape? Parang wala naman, di ba? Okay. If you look at, dahil walang, just for the record, Madam Chair, dahil wala naman nagtaas ng kamay or nagsabi, paragraph 12, the chamber notes that the prosecution alleges, let me say it again. The chamber notes that the prosecution alleges that some acts amounting to crimes against humanity of torture and rape under Article 7, subparagraphs 1 ba yan, F, 71, G of the statute were committed as a widespread and systematic attack against the civilian population. Ulitin ko the chamber notes that the prosecution alleges. So the prosecution in the ICC alleges that some acts amounting to crimes against humanity of torture and rape were committed as part of a widespread and systematic attack. For me, it's the first time I read that someone was accusing the president, the former government. But if you look at the last page of the warrant, or second to the last page, page 14, no? Issues a warrant of arrest. So, for these reasons, the chamber hereby issues a warrant of arrest for Rodrigo Roa Duterte, born on 28 March 1945, for his alleged criminal responsibility pursuant to Article 25, Paragraph 3, Paragraph A of Statute for the Crime Against Humanity of Murder, pursuant to Article 7(1)A, wala yung G na rape, committed in the Republic of Philippines during the relevant period as set forth in this warrant of arrest. So I just want to make this point, Madam Chair. So kung sa akin nangyari to, pupunta ako sa Philippine Court at sasabihin ko sa Philippine Court, sir, makita mo naman, sa Marites at Chismis kinuha ng prosecutor ng ICC. Padadala mo ako doon, pinakamaikse, 4 to 6 years yung hearing, deprived of liberty. Yung prosecutor mismo nag-allege ng rape. The harshest critics of President Duterte accuse him of being insensitive to women, saying misogynist, masama yung etc. And I won't defend him there. It's on the record, di ba? And also accused him of being insensitive to a foreign national who was a missionary here who was raped. But I haven't heard na inaccuse siya ng rape or ordering rape. Ang alam ko nga, galit na galit siya pag ministreat yung mga kababaihan. So, dun pa lang, questioning ko to before a Philippine judge. Kasi, kawawa naman ako pag nandun. So that's my point. So, second point I just want to make kay SOJ is, I personally will respect its sub judice because this case in the Supreme Court is so important. But just for the record, it's nag-rule na rin, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, we cannot stop the hearing or we can continue kahit na sub judice. But he's not asking naman to stop the hearing. He's just saying, can we be sensitive to that? Because they're going to have to put their position on paper and present it before the Supreme Court. So, mamaya, Madam Chair, more factual na lang yung mga tanong ko rather than issues para yung facts naman, SOJ is not naman under dispute, di ba? And will help us pa nga sa doon. But this is just an example. And I just read this morning, pero nagulat lang ako doon na yung prosecutor pala may ganun allegation, no? Oo.
Kaya nga nagkagulantaan. Palibasa, nakita natin yung warrant much later. Did any one of you General Marbil, General Torre, meron ba kayong hawak na ICC warrant of arrest at the time of his arrest? Parang electronic copy lang, tapos pinakopya muna, tapos binigay na pagdating doon. Bakit ganun? Samantalang March 10 pa lang nagmo-mobilize na ng libu-libong pulis. Pagkatapos alam na natin na magkakaganito dahil nabalitaan na nga sa Hong Kong. Kung ganun, bakit walang warrant doon sa mismong pag-aresto? Electronic copy lamang at nagpa-imprenta pa. Ba't nagkaganon?
May I differ on the wisdom of the SOJ to explain on the legality of the electronic copy of the warrant, ma'am?
Hindi naman tinatanong yung legality. Okay lang yun. Ang tinatanong ko, bakit parang unprepared kayo samantalang prepared na si General Marbil?
Madam Chair, I just want to make clear na ang kabaho po ng police is really to assist po yung PCTC natin. Yun po yung and what we have is tama po yung sinasabing order ng diffusion. So ito po yung nangyari. We rely po dun sa PCTC, dun sa lahat ng mga documents that they did na gagamitin po dun sa effect ng arrest. Ito po yung ginawa po ng again, uulitin ko.
Dapat yung PCTC nagdala ng warrant. Ba't nga ba kayo walang warrant?
It was stated ipapadala po through diplomatic channels Naka-state po yun
So, dapat diplomatic channel. Nangyari ba yon? Kung diplomatic channel yung DFA, ano ba nangyari sa warrant na yan? Sa dinami-dami ng handa ninyo, sa libo-libong pulis at sundalo na kinalampag, wala bang nag-isip na kinakailangan dalhin yung warrant?
Your Honor, if I may, wala po kaming information o wala kaming natanggap at all.
Kayo naman sa PCTC, wala rin kayong natanggap?
We requested for a copy of the warrant and we got it the next day.
The next day being?
The warrant that came from the
Kaya nga, what
the
day
system. The next day is 12.
So, hindi rin ninyo na ipakita kay Presidente Duterte? Bale tama, si General Torre na warrantless arresto.
Pinakita po namin yung hard copy sa 250 pero sa lawyers po natin pinigay.
Madam Chair, can I clarify?
Kasi ang sinasabi din na redacted copy lang ang binigay, hindi rin kompleto, kaya hindi nila mabuo. At yun nga, nagkagulatan,
Can I
bakit
clarify?
meron pa?
Can I clarify that, sir? It was a sealed warrant, correct? Hindi.
Hindi po. Electronic yung nakuha po na...
No. Ano ang kasi parang sa ibang news report sabi sealed. Pag sealed kasi hindi dadaan ng DFA 'yon. So yun nga ang question.
What was sealed, sir, was the warrant of arrest was sealed
Okay.
before March 11.
Yes. Tapos kanino sir pinadala? Sino magbubukas noon pag sealed?
When they demanded a copy of the warrant, we relied on our fail-safe mechanism. We have a fail-safe mechanism to make sure that the documents are secure in our possession. So it's the DOJ that produced the warrant.
Hindi sa may bias ako sa DFA but I've worked with these people. Kasi pag sealed, I don't may option na hindi padaanin sa kanila at kahit pinadaan sa kanila, I don't think they have the authority to open it. Diba?
Yes, but we had to use our fail-safe because the CTC could not produce the warrant, so we had to use our fail-safe.
But once naman it's opened by the proper authority who's allowed to open it, di ba, to unseal it, then, syempre, Philippine law na. Ipapakita mo talaga dun sa na...
Yes, we showed it to the President and to his lawyers.
Madam Chair, konting latitude lang from SOJ because kanina we agreed to disagree already and kaya nga, ang appeal ko sa kanya to make rules kung ano ang reasonable time. And since my wife is a mayor and I was speaker and DFA secretary before, I do understand from the enforcement point of view, di ba? Sa police, sir. Siyempre, pag may huli, mission-oriented kayo Parang yung military, di ba? Ang mission nyo, ma-arrest, di ba? But that's why nga, meron kang Solgen, meron kang SOJ, meron DILG. So, ang viewpoint ng DILG, ng police, ng NBI, halimbawa, hulihin at yung ma-return yung warrant successfully, di ba? But even si ES Miguel Dia, who remember he was, you can call it a vacation or a working trip in Hong Kong na rally, sinamahan lang, didn't expect a 20-hour flight, didn't expect to do all of this. And he only saw the president, former president, an hour before he appeared before ICC, and hindi naman niya alam yung rules ng ICC, etc. So ito ang sinabi niya, di ba? 2 days ago, the world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into a private aircraft and summarily deported to The Hague. To ask lawyers, this would be called an extrajudicial rendition. To the less inclined, it was pure and simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score setting. So I won't read the score setting, etc. Alam naman natin lahat. But just to go down, ito, sabi niya. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th paragraph, I have not been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only established a redacted version of the prosecution last night. Other than to identify myself, my client is not able to contribute anything to this hearing. I cannot speak for former ES Miguel Dia. Ang impression lang, at least sa internet at sa amin, I talked to him. He's the only one I talked to. I haven't talked to the Vice President since 2018 or 2019. I saw President Duterte, parang 2022 pa, I'm not sure, no? But ang point ko, tama-tama nung may kinakamusta ako dun sa Netherlands, katabi niya si ES, ang sinabi lang niya sa akin at that time, wala sa ospital, pinangako sa amin dalhin sa ospital, pumunta kami dito sa center, detention, wala daw Rodrigo Duterte or President Rodrigo Duterte. 30 minutes later naman after talking to him, it was on the news, so that's all public record. So I haven't talked to him, so I don't know kung ano yung stand niya. But I did hear SILG say that nakatape naman lahat to. So I'm not going to ask you to produce it now dahil may court dates pa kayo, but at the right time, just for the committee's accuracy and to be precise in our findings, yun nga, if there are parts na ibigay nyo where sinasabi at pinapakita yung warrant, ano yung warrant, or a copy of what he showed. I'm just saying that we will go back and forth kasi consistent
Sir,
naman kanina pa. Yes,
We
ma'am.
have a picture here, if we can show
Okay.
you. But maybe General Torre can approach
Yeah.
and show you
No,
the picture.
sa committee or after, or if you want to show. I'm point ko lang, factually, consistent naman kayo kanina pa na
Yes.
pinakita hindi doon sa 250, di ba? We're just going back and forth. So I
Yes.
just wanted to escape that. And then I don't know what their lawyers are saying na hindi pinakita. Okay, so but thank you for that, SLG. So yung last point ko nga kay Attorney Alexis, in the form of a few questions. Sir, does the quality of your petition to the court matter? In terms of due process and satisfying reasonable manner that the accused was given the opportunity to seek legal remedies.
You mean to say, Your Honor, you think of due process, the petitioner should have enough time to come up with a quality petition?
Well, quality lawyers, because if I'm consulting an immigration lawyer for a criminal, I don't know the practice of ES Miguel Dia. Well, at the last 6 years, I do know that he was ES. In his younger years, he was my dad's partner before nag-iba-ibang law office. Parang hindi ko alam kung litigation or labor eh. So ang point ko lang, di ba, the quality of the petition you file is also part of due process, meaning having enough time with your lawyer, being able to choose kung sinong lawyer, the combination of your lawyers, whether saying, sir, pang RTC to, sir, pang Supreme Court. I read marami sa internet na bakit hindi ununa yung writ of habeas corpus, application for the writ of habeas corpus versus the TRO. The explanation, sorry guys, talagang sa Facebook at sa news, but sa news, doon ko rin nabasa, so I'm not saying it's true. Maraming fake news in all sides, but I'm just telling you honestly where I got my news. At sinasabi nga na si attorney, how do you pronounce it? Torion? No, the one who filed sa TRO, yung Torion, di ba? Sinasabi kasi nga, si Attorney Torion somehow worked on it na nung may balita pa lang sa Hong Kong. Kaya yun yung final. I don't know if it's true or not, but my point is, I see from the enforcement side, binigyan nyo ng 10 hours, 12 hours, but from the accused side, enough time to pick my lawyers, to give the facts, to look at the warrant, to look, kasi ako lang, 2 days na ako nag-aaral sa hearing na to, hirap pa eh. So if, I'm not a practicing lawyer in the sense na nagli-litigate, di ba? But I don't think I'll be able to put a really good petition to the Supreme Court or to the RTC in 2 days. Di ba? So to say may 12 hours na. So my question was really, hindi ba part ng due process then yung reasonable opportunity to the best defense available to you?
If I may, Senator, there are actually no clear constitutional or jurisprudential standards on the quality of legal service as an aspect of due process. But it's arguable that the quality, the opportunity to get quality legal service, the opportunity to get to submit a quality legal work should be should be also part of the guarantee of reasonable opportunity to be heard of due process. So personally, I would agree, but unfortunately, it's still something that should be argued po. Maraming salamat.
Sige. You know, I just wanted to make the point na for me, yung part ng due process doon is yung best defense available sa kanya is made available precisely. Because if you will dictate to me ano defense ko, problema yon, di ba? So, kung titignan mo sa Hague, so hindi nila pwede pang question dun sa unang hearing, let me just call it unang hearing, yung jurisdiction, yung pagpunta doon, and then September pa. Dito, unless you're caught in flagrante delicto and unless i-inquest ka, a number of days ang ibibigay ng fiscal, tapos sasagutin ng abogado mo. So mahaba pang proseso bago ka, and that's for simple cases, for theft, etc. Lalo pagka for murder. And even sa inquest, may time na binibigay na papakawalan mo. So I just wanted to make that point na ibang-iba. And just an observation, Madam Chair, dito po sa information on the surrender and transfer, nakalagay kasi dito, number 14, the ICC representative informed Mr. Duterte the next step that would be followed, that he's going to be transferred to the ICC detention center by the Dutch authorities. He was informed that he was being arrested in the implementation of ICC warrant for arrest, that he was informed he will be checked by medical professionals. He was informed he has the right to receive family visits. He was informed that his first appearance will take place soon. He was informed he would be taken to a hospital. He was informed he would receive a folder at the detention center with his rights and information on the next procedural step. No? And then si E.S. Miguel Diang, sinabi niya, what did he say about sinabi niya the next day pa or... Hindi, may sinabi siya after the hearing, di ba? Oo, na basically na hindi pa nila alam yung charges. So again, tama si SOJ na iba sistema nila. For all we know, they were following their system. But that's my point nga. Iba sistema nila sa atin. And we subjected not only an ordinary Filipino citizen, but a former president to that. So parang on trial din tayo doon. So, I'll defer back to you, Madam Chair, but later I have some questions on fact. Ma'am, can I have a few questions, baka 10 to 15 minutes and a short introduction lang. Okay. So, good afternoon ulit, gentlemen, ladies. Pasensyahan niyo yung aking introduction. I'm not imposing this on you. This is my personal code, di ba? So, more than being Alan Cayetano or a senator, a former Secretary of Foreign Affairs or former Speaker or Congressman, I believe I'm an ambassador of the Lord Jesus Christ, di ba? So, I'm not imposing that on anyone, but our USEC here will tell you, ambassadors don't have opinions. Kung ano ang sinabi ng principal nila, yun ang iyong opinion. Hindi ka pwede magsariling opinion. So when we pray yung Lord's Prayer na your kingdom come here on earth as it is on heaven, you're actually aligning your government and your culture with God's culture, di ba? And God's purpose. Yung pinakasimple is do good or promote good, prevent evil. Parang sa police din, Sir Marbil, di ba, na prevent evil, do good. Saan nagkakatalo? Nagkakatalo dun sa mga pro-Duterte na the drug war was a war for peace and order. It was a war because many pushers and to certain effect addicts who committed crimes were making people unsafe. So to those who are supportive of that, they're doing God's will of promoting good. Doon naman sa human rights activist, ang ano nila, accountability. So kahit yan ay pusher or addict, hindi dapat patayin na lang or EJK. Wala tayong complication if Duterte was more like FVR or more like Pinoy because his language was more diplomatic. So you wouldn't hear FVR despite being a distinguished soldier, one of the founders ng special forces, 'di ba, ng even sa police, 'di ba? So pero kasi si President Duterte may lengguwahe, pag lumaban patayin niyo yan. His explanation is that yun kasi naiintindihan ng kriminal. Pero ang police, aral yan, so alam nila tama't mali. So if you looked at the videos when I was the foreign minister, I had nothing to do with operations, but part to nung explaining to the world what was happening, and part to nung communications. It was both based on the foreign policy, and the President allowed me to put a little bit of my opinion. So ang stand namin doon during that time, and this is where I'll start my questions, SOJ, is that lahat ng mali iimbestigahan. So the only way that President Duterte will have a chance to show na walang systematic culling of addicts, extrajudicial killing, walang crime against is individual, one-on-one investigations. What confused everything during that time? First, meron po kasing issuance ang sila Secretary de Lima noon, ni-redefine nila yung extrajudicial killing. AO 35. Kaya yung 13,000 to 18,000 na patay every year during the Aquino administration, suddenly nung Duterte administration, so nung time nila, sinabi nila hindi extrajudicial yon. So nandun sa AO, tinanggal nila yung mga activist na hindi daw extrajudicial killing yon. So pagdating ng Duterte time, basta't patay at hindi natural causes, extrajudicial. Okay? Pero klaro din naman na dumami din because nga, once you started the campaign, meron talagang away among the syndicates, meron, from the start, Duterte said, meron politiko, meron police, may businessman, lahat yan may involved sa drugs. And no one of us naman doubted that. Ang question lang, yung due process sa mga police at politiko dun sa drug war. So, klaro tayo dun. So, eto lang yung question ko. SOJ, feel free kung tingin mo, sub judice or issue na to, but factual lang, no? I think this is of public record. Former Senator De Lima was a Commission on Human Rights chairperson 2008 to 2010. Tama, no? Yeah. So, no one disputes that. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala siyang final na case during that time na siya'y CHR. So, I'll just check that, Madam Chair, and then submit it to the committee. But ang pagkaalam ko, walang case. Okay. But eto siguro masasagot ng DOJ kung hindi ngayon, just forward the answer. From 2010 to 2015, despite the investigation of former Senator De Lima noong 2008 to 2010, ang sabi niya, mahirap kumuha ng witness kasi nga mayor pa siya noon, tapos malakas daw sa presidente noon. I think he was peace and order head nung region eh. But 2010 to 2015, siya ang DOJ secretary. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala rin siyang final na case. to your knowledge, may final ba ang DOJ noon or special prosecutor against Duterte ng 2010?
I have no idea,
Yeah.
sir.
Can we double check?
I will double check,
Yeah,
sir.
okay. Sa pagkaalam ko po, sir, wala. Okay? Ang point ko is that either wala siyang kaso, meaning wala siyang ebidensya, because if she had, why didn't she file it? During the time na siya nakaupo na walang poder si Mayor Duterte. Okay. Fast forward, 2016, September pa lang, so June 30 kami naging senador. Siya, I was an incumbent noon. July, last week of July ang third week ang SONA. So July, August, September. No? Wala pang 2 buwan as senator, nakakuha daw siya ng 2 importanteng witness. Si Edgar Motobato and former PNP officer ba siya or Arturo Las Cañas. Again, I won't make a judgment here as far as the 2 witness. But dito niya ginawa. Okay? Again, no cases filed. And yung pagkagawa ng hearing was very political. I was just testing the credibility of Edgar Motobato and Arturo Las Cañas. For all I know, they were very credible. Pinatayan ako ng mic dito sa session. Inagawan ako ng mic, ini-intimidate ako. And although namagitan si Senator De Lima, hindi niya sinensure, hindi niya pinagalitan yung umalis ng mic. And anyway, history is the record. Ang point ko, still they did not file cases dito sa Pilipinas. Pero hawak nila yung 2. Sabihin mo nang walang mangyayari, I don't agree, but sabihin mo walang mangyayari kasi panahon ni President Duterte yon. So again, fast forward, no? From 2022, June 30, when President Marcos took over in Marcos administration, to present, do you know of cases filed against President Duterte, whether it's murder or crimes against in the Philippines?
I think Senator Sonny Trillanes filed cases.
Okay. So meron.
But this went to the office of the Prosecutor General, who immediately forwarded the said cases without going to my office to the Ombudsman. And there, it's just locked in there already.
Yes.
It never went back to us.
So as we're discussing naman SOJ, this is factual lang naman, di ba? May case ba, wala? We're not making judgments dun sa cases. But ang point ko kasi, kung walang case, bakit? Kasi kung walang ebidensya, no point for ICC to take it up kasi wala ngang ebidensya. If it's because hindi matry dito, for whatever reason, di ba, pinoprotektahan natin, our justice system doesn't work, then dapat mapunta sa ICC. So I don't know the amount of evidence attached to the complaint of Senator Trillanes. Again, I won't comment. Factual lang yon. I have my opinions, but I'll keep my opinion to myself. No? But in June 24, 2022, so ano pa to? Duterte pa to, no? Kasi June 30 pa ang Marcos, di ba? Nag-file ang Solgen sa ICC ng deferral request. So you're aware. Enforcement.
Yes, there are 3 Interpol connections in the country: NBI, immigration, and of course the PNP.
Okay. Then when it was unsealed, was it immediately executed or did any relevant government lawyers review it muna to see whether a Filipino citizen, whether the rights of a Filipino citizen was being
Sir,
impeded?
just to be clear,
Yeah.
after the warrant was served on March 11, 3 a.m., it was only in the postmortem that we learned about the unsealing on March 7. So there was no information to us in the effect that it was unsealed on March 7 until after the service of the warrant.
Can you enlighten me on that, Sec? So the unsealing was...
Yes, we learned about the unsealing of the warrant post-arrest, sir.
Okay.
When he was there already, it was revealed to us that it was opened on March 7, although not transmitted to any government.
Okay.
We only received notice, formal notice. I think when the unsealing happened, that's when all the rumors started.
Okay.
I think
So-
that was the basis of President.
Thank you for that, SILG, because that factual na meron na nung March 7 na unseal, etc. So I
Again,
won't...
sir, I clarified that.
Yes.
there was no one in complete knowledge of the unsealing until after the arrest.
Who unsealed it ba, theoretically? Or
It
what
was
office?
Secretary Boying, it was unsealed by the ICC.
By the ICC?
By the court, yes.
By the
Yes.
court, okay. Let's fill in the blanks na lang factually as you know, what do you call this, permits. But ang point ko, from the time it was unsealed, served to the President, did any government lawyer look at it muna and make a determination? Or we took it at face value na yan?
Yes, sir. Again,
You can change my words if
yes.
if you think
Again,
prejudicial
sir,
yung word.
just to be in the ICC in whatever way or form, we only received the warrant of arrest, the PCTC, on March 11, 3 a.m.
But, so when the PCTC,
PCTC, sir.
yeah, okay. When that office received it, ang marching orders or ang SOP or if my words are prejudicial, correct me, please. I don't mind. I'm not put bias or prejudice. I'm just speaking the way I understand it. Did any look at it and check it out muna na or iserve na natin to?
Copy. I talked to the Secretary of Justice. He reviewed it. He assumed that it had a presumption of regularity as informed, and we subsequently informed the President of the existence of the warrant.
Okay. You concur with that?
Yes,
SOJ, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I reviewed. Transmittal to me.
This wasn't
I was in Vienna at that
yeah,
time.
this isn't a trick question. So meaning, if you said no one reviewed, I would have asked, wouldn't it be a better protocol that someone reviewed para even before the accused goes to court? But saying that you reviewed it, I assume that you found it regular, and I won't argue with you there. I mean, I disagree that the warrant rise to the level that ipadala mo na lang siya doon, dapat sa court muna. But you were satisfied, at least in form. Again, I don't want to put words, form, and substance, but you know what I mean. Tinignan mo, and then okay na ano to.
Yes,
Tinignan mo, or
I
meant
gave the
your
clearance.
office. Your
I
office.
gave the clearance to serve the warrant.
Okay. So, again, I just want to make a point at that point in time that for me, kung tinanggap nung accused, nung arrestuhin, okay lang. Pero kung hindi, sana may judicial review available. No? I already
Sir,
made the
it was-
point of...
Sir, it was received at the first available instance that the accused allowed himself to read it.
Yes. That's where I disagree nga kasi something this complex, di ba? I would have rather, I don't know if it's 15 days, 30 days, give them enough time, etc. to go there. Tapos, lastly na lang siguro po, may mata sa gilid si Senator Amy, I think natatagalan na rin dun sa 10 minutes ko. Okay. So, si SOJ naman explained the thin line between cooperation, jurisdiction, and everything. Okay? But meron representative ang government, diba? Kasi, so, we turned over the arrested former President Duterte not to the Interpol, no? We turned them over to ICC.
Our Interpol representative turned him over to the ICC.
Oh, so if we were cooperating with Interpol, why didn't we turn them over to Interpol? And then sila na.
We did, sir. Mr. Lacanilao was the representative of the Interpol. He accompanied the former president to The Hague.
But hindi ba dual? Kasi di ba Mr. Lacanilao is Ambassador Marcos Lacanilao?
Yes, sir.
And
He is
he's
also
the-
part of the PCTC.
Yeah, but he's the special envoy for transnational crime.
Yes, sir. And
So he's representing the Philippine government, not Interpol.
Center for Transnational Crime is Interpol, sir.
Yeah, but what I meant is that he's representing the Philippine participation in Interpol.
He was given an appointment by the president to represent the Philippines in this matter.
Yes. Ang understanding ko lang SILG, di ba? So yung ICC, sinabi, kasi nga, wala naman sa Netherlands. Kung nasa Netherlands, then they would have asked the Dutch police, di ba? But since nga, or the state police, di ba? But since wala nga, they asked, and since the state withdrew, they asked the Interpol, and Interpol asked us. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
So, if we were cooperating only with Interpol, dapat sinurrender natin sa Interpol.
Yes, sir. That's what we did, sir.
No, Mr. Lacanilao
He was appointed.
turned him over directly to the ICC, not to the
Yes, sir.
Interpol.
Mr. Lacanela was given a special appointment by the president on that day, sir, on March 11, to represent the Philippines in the Interpol.
Yes, but the representative nung Interpol.
He was the representative, sir.
So dual siya, representative ng Philippines at ng International Interpol.
No, sir. If the structure of the Interpol is that the PCTC, the members of the PCTC, or as instructed by the president, becomes the representative of the Interpol. The Interpol, sir, does not mean that it's international police who will effect the arrest. The local members of the PCTC
acts as
the
their
Interpol.
agent.
Yes,
so
sir.
when it says here, representing the state authorities for the purpose of surrender, Mr. Marcos Lacanilao, in this capacity, was representing the Interpol,
Yes, sir.
not the office of the president or the Philippine government.
No, sir.
Oh. I'll clarify that kasi usually pag special envoy, you're representing the government.
He was properly documented and
Okay.
appointed, sir.
Sige, dati Lacanilao lang, ngayon medyo mas malinaw. No. Yes, okay. So, factual lang, agree to disagree on the other issues. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you to... yeah.